Hi, my name is Niki. This is The Interventionalist, and I want to talk about why I think queer love in particular is so beautiful and special. And I wanted to film this on Valentine's Day. It's not the day after Valentine's Day. It's still going to be in honor of Valentine's Day. My job ended up being pretty crazy yesterday, so I didn't get the chance to, but I still wanted to talk about it because it's something that I think about quite often. And I do think that there is a very special aspect of queer love that just makes it extra meaningful. And I think that the reason for that in particular is the deprivation and like the awareness of deprivation when it comes to love and attraction that then leads to a very deep appreciation that straight people I think just will never feel. When you're not allowed to have something and you have it taken away from you and it's never really an option and you aren't able to feel it or embrace those feelings because of being raised in an environment where being gay is not okay or it's not the norm, or there's like violent homophobia, you repress it and you never get to experience it. And so when you finally do get to experience it, I think it's just extra special. And because of that, it means more. And I think it hits you in a way that's deeper. I think it's kind of like, I guess if I had to equate it to something, I would say sort of like if you've been dehydrated for a week straight, any little amount of water will mean everything to you. And when you've been deprived of experiencing romantic love your whole life because your love was wrong or a sin, when you do get to experience it, I think it means infinitely more. And because of that, I think that queer people are able to form a sort of bond, an intimate bond that I think straight people I've yet to ever see replicated in a straight relationship or when they talk about love. Like, I think it is just different. I don't know. Like, to be completely honest, I listen to it and I think it's missing a depth that I see in queer relationships. And I think that all relationships are deepened when you have experiences that like have caused you to have to repress parts of yourself. And when you meet somebody that allows you to express that aspect of yourself, I think it inherently allows you to form a deeper bond. And the more sort of impacted you are by that repression, the deeper the bond I think forms or the deeper the bond becomes when you meet someone who allows you to like bring that out of yourself. But the very particular aspect of having to repress romantic love and then getting into a position or relationship where you're with someone who lets you express and embrace those feelings that you for so long had to specifically repress and feel ashamed about. And because that is the core, like one of the most fundamental feelings within that relationship, I think it makes specifically romantic relationships so uniquely beautiful and meaningful. And I think you just appreciate it in a different way. When you don't have something, when you finally have it, it means everything. Like you sort of can feel like this tangible appreciation, this luck. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, the times I've now been able to like experience even just attraction. I've been in love once, but the times I've been able to just embrace and experience attraction for women as someone who grew up in a very homophobic town and a very homophobic household, it meant everything to me. And I think that's part of the reason it still means so much to me. And I think that people will sometimes think it's silly the way that, I don't know, maybe that I talk about romantic love is something that really is so large in my life, even though I've only been in love once and I'm really not that big of a dater. Like, other than when I was in a relationship, I've been in two. I don't even really date. But it still means so much to me. And I think about it a lot and I think about the concept of it. And I just feel like a very, I don't know, deep admiration I think that's a weird word to use, but it's like, or maybe like it's an adoration. Maybe it's like I look at it in a sense of like wonder, like I'm sort of awestruck by the experience that is romantic love, whether it's because I'm experiencing it or I'm watching it be experienced, particularly by queer people. I'm sort of awestruck because I think it's such a wonderful thing. And for so long, I didn't really think it was possible, and not in the way that it is possible. One second, my cat's doing something. Let me stop him. Okay, sorry. He was like scratching a paper bag. But because I didn't know it was possible, when I found out that it was possible because I experienced it, I was like, holy shit. Oh my God, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is why love has been something that we can trace back for millenniums as such a core theme in the human experience through art, through writing. It's almost always there, love in all of the different forms. And romantic love is a kind of love that I didn't know what it felt like. I didn't understand why it was so special, and now I know why it means so much to us, and it's meant so much to us as a species for so long. And it's because when you have it, it means sort of everything. And as a queer person who was sort of on the outside looking in for so long, being able to be in the in crowd of just being in love, I don't know, I feel so lucky and grateful that being in that position, I still just kind of feel like a child. Like a childlike wonder, I guess is the word, when I do experience love. And I think there's something special, uniquely special about that sort of childlike wonder in general towards anything. I think that's a beautiful thing to have. And I'm sure with time, the more I'm able to embrace like being a lesbian and experience more and more of that attraction and that love, maybe it'll fade, but I'm not really sure that it will, because I still, exist in a culture where it's not the norm. And because of that, I feel extra lucky to be in a position or in relationships where I can sort of start to feel like it is the norm. And that's such a beautiful thing. And so when you're in this, God, I have so many thoughts on this. When you're in like a queer relationship, when you're in love that way, it's like all of the shame and all of the knowledge or the feelings that come with being in a culture that believes this to be wrong, or that this isn't the norm, or the shame you might harbor from your particularly homophobic experiences if you have them. When you're in love, it can sort of feel like those disappear. And I don't know, that's like the most beautiful thing ever. It's like healing. It's like you get to create your own little world. And there's something so special about being able to escape reality, especially a reality that in particular, if it would erase the little bubble of reality that you two are now creating. It makes it all the more special that you have then been able to create it and live inside of it and experience something so beautiful already, which is romantic love. And then also the intimacy of being like, oh my God, like we're doing this. Like this is our little thing. Sort of like, you have a secret. There's something special about having like a secret that's just yours, but it's just a secret that you two share. And maybe it's not actually a literal secret. Like hopefully you're in an environment where you can share that with the people around you and that you love. But I think it's still, I don't know, I think it's still a subconscious thing that many of us carry that we don't even realize that makes it particularly special, is that sort of, oh, like maybe we're doing something wrong. Like it's a little bit of a secret that you have, and it just makes it that much more special because it's something you need to protect then if it has to be like a secret. And maybe it's no longer a literal secret, but I don't know. I feel like that's maybe a subconscious thing that I carry that has made me feel like all the more enthralled when I've been in love and the experience of it and sort of consumed by it. Because it feels like a bubble that like is finally ours, that we get to be ourselves, and that sort of takes you out of reality and creates your own little world. And if something can create its own little special world, how special is that thing? Like just extra special. And I think queer love is particularly good at that. But I don't know. I just like love it. I'm just like happy talking about it, and it means a lot to me. And I think that there's such a deep appreciation that you feel with queer love that I'm just not sure straight people ever will. And I think it's the same way that, there's a lot of different ways that depending on your experience, you won't appreciate an aspect of yourself that other people will who have a deeper connection to it. Maybe it's a specific heritage, a specific culture. If you don't have that connection to it, particularly it's never been something that you've been forced to repress or have to hide, or it's been marginalized, you're not going to feel connected to that part of yourself because it's never been something you've been forced to even really think about, And queerness is just one of those things. And so because particularly the aspect of it, the foundation of it is romantic love. It is romantic love in and of itself, and those romantic relationships that I think become extra special between queer people and just extra meaningful, I guess. And it means a lot to be able to experience a love and express a love that for so long has been condemned and still continues to be condemned, that even today, even when it starts to get like more progressive, hopefully, and continues to get more progressive and its acceptance of queer love, it still is something that in its own way like beats the odds by being something and existing in a world that would prefer it not to exist, and to be loud about something that many people would prefer to be quiet. I think it's similar to like why people will be so annoyed, like, oh my God, don't make your sexuality your whole identity, like get over it. Like, why is there Pride Month? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, why do you need to talk about your sexuality all the time? It's stupid. It's because when you're forced to like repress something, again, anything about your identity, a marginalized identity that's been by society attempted like to be eradicated and oppressed, whatever it is, and queerness is just one of those things, it becomes extra special to you. And it does become the thing that you think about all the time because it's the thing that somebody's trying to take away from you and trying to make you feel ashamed about, and the thing that apparently if you express will lead you to be othered in a very significant way, potentially in a very violent, dangerous way. So of course it becomes something that you think about all the time, and it means so much to you. And so that's why for me, being a lesbian means a lot to me, because it was the thing where I grew up that would have like put me in a lot of danger if I was just out loud. And romantic love was something I wasn't allowed to have, because if I experienced it out loud, it would like put me in danger. So the ability to experience it means that much more to me. And also the thing that allows me to experience that romantic love that I always wanted to so bad, that I felt like I was on the outside looking in to, like I was the outsider looking in towards. The ability then to experience it is reliant on my lesbianism. And it's one of the most beautiful experiences in the world to be able to experience love that way. At least I feel that way, probably heightened by the deprivation that like led to that appreciation. But it is my lesbianism that has allowed me to experience that love. And because of that, I'm forever grateful that I am this thing. And I do think about it all the time because it is the thing behind my ability to experience this thing that I've been forced to repress for so long. So I think about it. They're mutually exclusive, obviously. My sexuality and my ability to experience something that I find to be one of the most beautiful things in the world. Not only does it feel like amazing, that's why I think people get like addicted to it. You can kind of be like a love addict. But yeah, I don't know. My lesbianism has allowed me to experience this thing that I also for so long felt ashamed about and thought that I would never be able to experience because I was a lesbian. So now that I know it is my lesbianism that like gives me the gift of experiencing that, how could I not always think about that thing that has given me the opportunity to experience this thing that I love so much and am so immensely grateful for in a way that I think straight people just aren't. And I also think queer love is particularly special because there's a certain kind of, I think, trauma that comes with being queer, the same way that like being a woman in society, there's a certain kind of trauma that comes with existing in a misogynistic society, existing in a homophobic one, you know, any marginalized identity, there's a certain kind of trauma that comes with that and that you almost like can't avoid. And I wouldn't say you get trauma bonded, but there is a certain kind of like depth of bond that comes with understanding each other's specific kind of trauma that way. And it is like rooted in that specific kind of romantic love. So again, I think it only expands the depth and connection that you can have in that romantic love because it is directly related to your romantic love and your expression of it. So that trauma that you experience by being in a world that hates your love and hates your ability to love, I think just makes it all the more meaningful when you experience it. And no, you're not trauma bonded like you're traumatizing each other, but you're bonding over a kind of trauma that's directly related to your once like forced repression of that love. So how could it not just make it deeper and deeper? I don't know. I guess it's kind of like the concept of you gain more depth as a person through more experiences and particularly through more hardships. I think it causes more introspection and self-reflection, especially trying to work through like painful emotions, and any sort of marginalization in the world, I think tends to like force that introspection and reflection further and further and further because you're being othered in a way that like forces you as a way to try and survive to understand yourself and understand the way that the world is perceiving you, and the way that you move through the world as a way to try and protect yourself, because there is an aspect of yourself that can always put you in danger and in varying degrees. So I think that queerness, again, is just one example of that. So yeah, I don't really want to ramble too much because I don't know. I could talk about it all day. Like, I just think queer love is so special, and I think romantic love is a really beautiful thing. And I think queerness is a really beautiful thing, and I think it's annoying when people are like, I also think it's stupid and just sort of naive when people are like, don't make it your whole identity, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, our identities are complex and whole and full in so many other ways, but when there's an aspect of your identity that like could also be used as a way for the world to try and erase you, it becomes a really big part of your identity only because it's something you have to think about all the time. And again, I think it's really dependent where you are. Like if you grew up in a really liberal environment, I'm sure you don't feel this way. I didn't. And so I do feel this way. So I think that contributes to it. But I do think queer love is particularly special. Also for the reason that when you date someone of the same sex, there is someone who is socialized in the same way as you. There's an added depth and understanding that I think very often doesn't exist in heterosexual relationships. I don't think it really can, because you lack that specific kind of understanding that only comes with like sharing that experience, that socialization, that socialized experience, that often is rooted in queer relationships or like for me, lesbian relationships. So again, there's an understanding of each other that broadens the depth. And like, for example, when you're in like a same-sex relationship, you can understand, like, I think when you meet, like, for example, if you're a woman and you meet another woman, there's almost like this immediate understanding, this immediate sense of like camaraderie, partnership. You just like know each other. It's like, okay, I know you. There's a comfort that comes with that and like this sense of safety. And in queer relationships, then when you're dating someone of the same sex, you have that almost immediate sense of like comfort and safety that can like lead you to lean into the relationship or fall into it a little harder or a little faster because you feel that almost like evolutionary safety that's been developed over time. And I think because of that, you also can connect deeper, which is a whole other thing. Like, I think depending on the relationship, like if you have two people of the same sex, like the way that you may fall in love on like an anatomical, like biological level, chemically, could be incredibly similar. And because of that, you might fall harder or in the exact same way at the same time. And because of that, again, like I think you might fall faster, but you fall harder in a very particular way. I think I'll probably make a video talking about that one day, why I think there can sometimes tend to be like codependency in lesbian relationships. But yeah, it's a really, at the end of the day, like I still think it's more beautiful than it is anything else. And I feel very thankful for it because even if it was the thing when I was growing up that I was most ashamed of or most afraid of, it is now the thing I am most grateful for and I'm most appreciative of. Because I think love in the world in general, any kind of love, is like the most beautiful aspect of existence. And I think that it is the most healing thing you can experience, any form of love in the world, especially in a world that constantly tries to strip you of the experience of love in so many different ways. And if you're queer, particularly the experience of romantic love. So the ability to experience it all is the thing that I'm so incredibly grateful for, and I do think about often because I feel so thankful for. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. If you are experiencing that sort of like shame, or you've experienced that shame that comes with being queer and being in like a queer relationship and still experiencing those feelings that can come with being raised in a world that tries to make you feel ashamed for them and your ability to feel love, I just hope you know that it is such a gift. It is truly such an immense gift to have an aspect of yourself that allows you to extend and experience such beautiful feelings and meaningful emotions that allow you to connect with a person with such depth and intimacy is genuinely like one of the greatest gifts of all. And so I guess you can consider yourself gifted. Yeah, maybe it's emotional gifted. You're emotionally gifted. I don't know, but truly, like it is genuinely a gift. And I feel sorry for the people who are so hateful that they would truly want to strip other people of their ability to love and to experience such hatred towards the experience of love. I know that they are incapable of feeling love the way that others can, like queer people who are innocently and harmlessly loving each other. And I think for that reason, you should lean into it with all that you have, because it really is an act of resistance to love in spite of the existence of people trying to condemn that love. And also, it's kind of a fuck you to experience it in the face of people who don't want you to, and also who probably feel the lack of it, and it makes them particularly bitter. You know, when they already hate a group of people and then they're like, ugh, like they get to experience love and happiness. That sucks, and they can't because they suck and they're terrible people, because you can only be a terrible person and capable of experiencing or having never experienced like love that deep that could be that hateful towards such a beautiful, wonderful thing. So that sucks for them. And that truly is an act of resistance, is to continue to experience it and to allow yourself to embrace it and experience it and to have that experience, something that they never will. It's like a fuck you. Have fun in your life, like never getting to experience something that wonderful and beautiful. And I think that love sort of ripples out into the entire queer community. And I think that's why there is so much love within it, and connection and care, and just like general community that loves and cares for each other, that, again, people that are that hateful will never experience. And that's why it like develops a sense of community at all. And that thread is sort of what holds it together, and it's so strong. They don't have that. And that sucks. And I think it's something that you should take advantage of and contribute to with your own experiences of love in whatever way, queer love, however you love. Yeah. And strengthen that thread with your own experiences. Because, again, they don't have that. And the stronger that this little community is on its own, it's not really little, the less that it can be ripped apart or hurt by these people. Even if like on a federal level they like try and do that, queer people have existed always and will continue to always exist, and that thread will always connect us in whatever way, because it is built and founded on one of the most strong, long-lasting emotions, which is love, which is why we as a people have been so obsessed with it for millenniums. You can trace it back, right? Like through art. They just don't have that. And I don't know. I think they collapse it on themselves without like that strong foundation of care that comes with love for one another, authentic, true love. So that sucks for them. Truly, I believe that is their punishment. Like, the most wonderful thing I've ever experienced and I've seen experience is that very true, authentic love and appreciation of love that it can exist between queer people in the queer community that they'll never have. And that sucks. I really think it's like the best part about existence. So that's their punishment in life. Okay, yeah, that's it. I don't want to like ramble too much, but yeah, happy Valentine's Day. It's late, but if you're queer and you had, I hope you had a Valentine's Day full of love. And if not, I hope you just remember that you exist within a community that is founded and full of so much love that even if it wasn't directly in front of you, it's still all around you and a part of you, and you're a part of it. So, okay, that's it. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading a video talking about masc and femme dynamics, like heteronormative dynamics in queer relationships, if you want to watch that. And I actually will be uploading it tomorrow because I don't have work. So my day won't be like overly busy, and then I won't get the opportunity to. But what else? I have a website. If you want to go on there, I write things on there. I write like some academic stuff, and then I also write like just like, I don't know, personal things. I write about love often, like heartbreak, because I just got my heart broken pretty recently. If you want to read that. I also have a submissions page. If you have anything that you want to talk about yourself, I'll put like the link down below if you want to go on there. You can just email me. My email is also going to be down below. If you have anything that you want to talk about, if you want to like send it to me and have someone just have a reason to talk about it, whatever it is, please feel free to send it to me. I would be honored to read it, to hear it. And if you would like the opportunity maybe for other people to see it, I can also put it on my website. I publish the submissions. If you want to look at that page on my website as well, because people have submitted stuff and wrote really beautiful things, really genuinely beautiful things that made me tear up to read. So if you want to send it and have someone read yours, maybe online, I can upload it like anonymously or not. Or if you just want a reason to write about it and send it to someone, you can always send it to me and I'll read it and I'll be in your audience. And yeah, I post videos on like TikTok and Instagram, and I guess that's it. But okay, happy late Valentine's Day, and I will see you in the video tomorrow. Bye.